Hey, quick question. Do you play contemporary gospel music? Okay, then what about gospel quartet music? Well, are you interested? So cool, if you're a bass player and you answered yes or no to either one of these questions, stick around, I got something for you. I'm Jermaine Morgan, musician and producer, and I've been playing gospel music pretty much my whole musical life, and I've worked in gospel music with some of today's leading artists and some of the artists of old for over 15 years. And because of my experience, I have a pretty good idea of what gospel music should sound like. What I've done is I've taken all of these influences from contemporary music and gospel quartet music, and I've created some jam packs just for you. I've created one for contemporary gospel music to give you an idea of how to approach today's contemporary gospel. And I've also created one for gospel quartet to give you an idea of how to approach gospel quartet music, both old school and modern music. So in these packs, I've included my bass take so you can have a good idea of how I approached it from my perspective, but I also give you the bassless track so you can do your own thing. You can use these to upload videos on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you choose, whatever platform you choose to upload your videos. Or if you just want to jam out around the house, it's perfect for that as well. And get this, I've also included the sheet music and the tab if you need that little extra help. And if that's not enough, what I've done is I went a step further and I did instructional videos to show you guys, if you're completely new to gospel music, gospel quartet, gospel contemporary music, I've created instructional videos to show you guys how to navigate through these tracks, even break down a few of the licks that I'm playing in these tracks to give you some ideas of what can work over these type grooves. So I look forward to seeing you on the inside. Thank you. I'm out. Peace. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another Grooves and Motivation with me, Jermaine Morgan. I see you people commenting over there. Anthony Robinson, good morning to you. Music for Jesus is in the building, Tennessee. Good morning to you. BE, good morning to you. And anybody else who's joining, I welcome you all. Welcome you all this morning. It's a great morning to be anywhere, especially in the land of the living. While I'm saying that, I'll say this really quick, lest I forget. So you saw in the gospel, contemporary gospel and the gospel quartet promo there, I want to make mention of one of our hometown giants. From anybody that really knows me, you know I'm originally from Mississippi. And so we lost like a quartet legend from Mississippi on yesterday. Well, world renowned Lee Williams of Lee Williams and the Spiritual QCs. So just wanted to give a shout out for one of the hometown people, one of the hometown heroes, if it were. I remember growing up listening to that music, and I was a little boy hearing that music way before everybody around the world knew Lee Williams. We knew him locally, and you know, it was a little notoriety there, but I remember him blowing up as well, and just taking off and hearing those songs that I have been hearing since my childhood, just, sung all around the world. So anyway, yeah, just really wanted to pay respect to the Williams family, to my Mississippi family who are, grieving, who are mourning. Many of my friends from back home have, either been influenced by Lee, know him personally, worked with him, or served him in some form of fashion. So definitely want to give my respect and condolences there to the people who are remembering, and I'm not going to say mourning, but celebrating the life of, such a force in gospel music over the last 20, 30, 40 years. He's been singing longer than that, but I think since the general public really knew about him like the last 20, 30 years. So yeah, just definitely want to pay my respects there. So anyway, jumping right on into everything, I appreciate you guys for for joining in. Burton, I see you here. And as usual, you're already, I can't talk this morning. You already know what to do. Drop where you're watching from in the comments or in the chat this morning. I always love to see where people are joining in from. It's always really super cool to see. Some people are like, it's like noon for you, or it's like nighttime for you. And then we have those other people like my LA or West Coast friends that jump up at 5 and 4 in the morning to catch this. I really, really appreciate it. And we're going to have a little fun today and just dig into some topics. I think the name of this topic is Time for a Hard Reset. And we'll get into that talk. But first, let's find a little groove. Let's have some fun. I didn't really have anything pre-planned this morning. I thought I was just going to flow with it and just see where it went. But yeah, I didn't start out with anything pre-planned. Let me adjust this mic volume. I'm talking about this mic. I think that'll work. Yeah, I appreciate you guys sharing your love for Mr. Williams in the comment sections. Absolutely. We're just going to see where this thing goes. Sweet. So I like to be random. Just find random elements. I got a pen right here. I'm just going to tap on my desk, get something else. I have no idea where this is going, but I'm liking it. That's the fun part about it, just creating. You don't know where it's going to end up. What else can I add? All right, let's see where it goes. Add a clap. Let me see if I can get a clap in here. I gotta hold the mic. With my I don't have a mic stand over here. Let's see if I can do this. Gotta redo that over. I forgot to quiet my bass down. Hold on. Y'all got me looking silly. I'm gonna keep the y'all got me looking silly in there too. I like it. Guess who? Guess who's on night shift for the next 2 weeks? Hello, very happy to be here. Thank you, man. Very happy to be here. Be the talkback is cool, so you can, if you listen real closely, you can hear me say, "Y'all got me looking silly." That might be the name of the song. Y'all got me looking silly. All right. Encourage me. Hey, Rayford, what's up? What's going on, good people? Madagascar is in the building. Steven is in the building. Good morning, man. Rayford, North Carolina. Who else am I missing? I haven't played this in a while. Let's see what we got. What's up, Tiffany? Canny, Lester, good morning to you. Perry George is in the building. I got that one saved, so don't nobody get mad. I got that one saved. Let's see. All right, let's see what we got. All right, let's build it out. Got a little delay in there, but I'm good with it. I think I'm gonna use the bass, create a little go-go thing. Yep, I messed up. Sorry about that chord right there. I need to remember that. It's too short. what I'm doing that I don't like is I'm forcing it. I don't like when I do that. It's like one of those things you kind of have to be aware of it, but at the same time, allow yourself, well, be honest with yourself when you're playing. And I think that, and I talked about that like a minute ago, being honest with yourself. And I think I'm forcing it because I'm trying to make my brain come up with something, or I'm trying to make my hands go somewhere instead of just allowing whatever it is that I'm creating. And I find myself doing this, and this is real transparent. I find myself doing this when I'm composing music. Oftentimes, if I ain't feeling it, I'll just back off of it. But I try not to trash the idea. It doesn't mean it's a bad idea if you're not feeling it. It just means you're just not feeling it. It's that simple. And I think a lot of times when we back off from trying to force ourselves to be creative, because it's not that I don't have them. I can't play, I can't solo over it, I can't do. But sometimes you can have the right information, but it's like not the right time for it, if that makes any sense. It's almost like somebody coming to you telling you about their problems, and they really want to talk to you and want you to be a listening ear, but instead you give them the advice to fix their life. And if you follow this step and you do this, that, and that, you're going to be straight. It's like, yeah, you might be given the right information, but it's the wrong time for it. And so oftentimes that can cause what you said to not be fully received because the timing of it was not right. And that's, in a sense, what I'm kind of doing with this. I feel this backing track that I just created. It's a good vibe, but sometimes in this sense, just kind of sitting back and listening and let it breathe and just, is there anything I can add that will make this any better? Or is it better to just let it be? You know what I'm saying? Just listen to the vibe. I think it's a really cool vibe, personally. But am I hearing anything melody wise over it right now? I could force one, but naturally I'm not. Sometimes in the creative process for me, it comes to me like right away. As you guys can hear, as I'm building these tracks out, and might be something that I come back to, and I'll hear a whole big elaborate arrangement in 2 weeks, or in 3 months, or in a year, or something like that, depending on when I come back to it. But oftentimes, again, you can force the creativity and try to make a song or an idea go in the way that you want it to go, because I need to create something now. And like being on a live like this right here, and just to give you kind of context for me, being on a live right now, and I know I got people looking at me. It's like the idea is you have to produce, and you have to produce it now. But even now, like being honest with myself, giving myself permission, no, I don't. I don't have to produce anything right now. And allowing yourself to be free of that obligation to do something just because somebody's watching, it frees up the creative process. It frees it up a lot. And then when you're honest with it, I feel like, and you like just seriously confront whatever that thing is, you really just kind of free yourself up. You free yourself up to think. You free yourself up to be as creative as possible, and you take the pressure off of yourself, right? So anyway, and let's go back to that. Did I save that? Make sure I save that. And so I'm subject to do that, all the time. Good, sensible words. I'm hoping that I help somebody in these lives and trying to be super, super transparent. Again, to go back, if you're new to me, let me say this first. I'm Jermaine Morgan. If you're new to this channel, you never heard of me before in your life. You just stumbled across this channel and you saw that nice looking bass and you wanted to know, okay, who is this? I'm Jermaine Morgan. I'm here all the time. You can hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you know when I go live. Most of the times, it's Tuesday mornings at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. All right. So, yeah. Good morning. Is that Yoruba? Yoruba? I'm butchering that. You start with a U. Good morning to you. Kazaya, good morning to you. Who else is in here? Preston, good morning. All right. The directors, good morning to you. I don't think I spoke to you yet, But anybody else I haven't spoke to, good morning to you. So yeah, that's one of the things I think, like doing these lives, it allows me to address the elephant in the room that I think most musicians don't address. We prepare for the stage, uh, but there's a lot of times that pressure is always on. That pressure to produce. I talked about this in a video talking about being honest. And actually, it was in a live. That video was taken from a live, but we were talking about being honest when you play. Sometimes, you can fall victim to feeling like you're your peer pressure, peer by your musician peers or whoever's watching you in the moment. There's a pressure to produce, but I think it's something to be said when you can learn how to relax and kind of master that art of, you know what, this is what it is. I'm still working on it. I'm still working through it, but I'm very aware of what it is and what it is I need to work on. So that's why one of the reasons, not just why, but this is one of the reasons I do enjoy coming live, because it gives me a opportunity to really address some of these things that I'm working through real time, let you hear them. It helped me, being a perfectionist, to give myself a little grace. And some of you might be doing that in your own playing or in whatever you do, even if you don't play necessarily. But we have the tendency to not give ourselves enough grace. You know what I'm saying? We always put that pressure on that it has to be excellent. And excellent is something good to strive for, but, sometimes it's good to just, relax and let it be. All right, let's see what else I got here. All right. Forgot about that one. that. Let's try it again. The old school fade out. What's up, everybody? Welcome again to Grooves and Motivation Live. I'm Jermaine Morgan. So, really quick, jumping into the talk. Just a question, just by a show of hands, how many of y'all are actually feeling burnout? Or it's like, what's the point? That kind of vibe. If it's anybody in the building, you can just leave a thumbs up. You don't even have to put your hands up. You can put a thumbs up. If you if you are feeling that way, or if you have currently at some point recently in your playing felt that way where it's like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good on all this. Y'all can have it all. And oftentimes I found myself in that situation. I'm not there now, but because I know it's something that a lot of people, there we go, I see you, because I know it's something that a lot of people have dealt with or are dealing through, that's something I want to address. One of my goals as a music consultant, not just a musician, but as a music consultant, as a music coach, is to kind of help people through issues and situations that I've personally dealt with, or things that I know that musicians have the tendency to struggle with. And that's one of the things that I do, or I specialize in when I talk to groups outside of talking on YouTube or anything like that, one-on-one, the coaching sessions, or if I'm going to speak to a group of people, or if I'm consulting a team, consulting with the team rather. That's one of the things I like to deal with. Try to find out what are some of the trouble spots that people are dealing with, or bring to your attention some of these potential trouble spots and how to avoid them, or how to get out of them altogether, or how to still maintain your energy while you move through them. Because some of these things are necessary. I will say that some of these things are necessary for your growth, for your development, for what it is you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish as a musician, what you're trying to accomplish as a person. As much of it as we hate and we'd like to be done with, I can tell you from experience, you see things better in hindsight. While you're going through it now, you can't see it. I mean, you just can't see it. But you see things as you get a little older, or not necessarily in age, but mature in playing, or a little older in that position, that job, that gig, whatever that thing is that you're dealing with. As you get down the road, you can look back at it and say, oh man, I can now see how that was good for me. I can now see how that experience was necessary for me to develop into who I am, into what I am, into the musician that I am today, into the person that I am today, because I can now look at that situation with a different set of eyes. One of the things, there's this analogy that I often use a lot of times when I speak. It's not even original to me. I don't know if my wife, it was original to her, but it's something that she told me years ago, and I like to use it because it's a great analogy. It's like you're looking at this painting. Obviously, in a painting, there's a lot of, if you get close up on the painting, you can see a lot of brush strokes that might not have been intentional, but they just kind of made it work. So you are looking at this painting and you're literally like this close to the painting. It messed with my eyes to do that. But you're literally like super close to this painting. And you can see this one little blemish or maybe two or three little blemishes because you're so close to this painting. And you just focus in on that because this is all you can see. I mean, we ain't talking peripheral or none of that. You're just looking right at this painting. But one of the things you have to do, as she showed me, you have to back away. My wife is an artist. So you have to back away. And it's like the further you get away from the painting, the more beautiful it becomes. Because you can, especially when it's something that's a really big piece of works. Like let's take a mural. If you were to walk up on a mural and just stand right in front of it, like 6 inches away from a mural, a big wall mural, you're not getting the full picture. But the further you back up and you back away from the mural, it starts to come alive. You start to see all this detail that you didn't see before. Whereas when you zoomed in on it, you just saw a little brush strokes. You might have saw a little dot here. You might have saw a little color or something that seemed out of place. But when you back away from it and you begin to see this whole beautiful picture come alive, now you have a greater appreciation for it. Why do I say all of that? Because that's like life. That's like if you want to compare it to your musician journey, or if you want to compare it to your playing, you want to compare it to your business, any of that stuff. That's what it is. It's exactly what it is. Oftentimes, when we're living here in real time, because now is always now. That'll sink in for somebody after this live. Now is always now. We never escape now. The only way you can escape now is almost seems like an oxymoron, but the only way you can truly escape now is to be present and appreciative in the moment. No matter what you're facing, no matter what you're going through, because I know life can present us with some challenges and we can be like, really, Jermaine, you really want me to be thankful and grateful and all of this kind of stuff right here, right now? Yeah, I do. Because I can tell you from experience, when you go back and you look at it, you go back and like for me, there's some services that I've watched. I served years ago. I served at one of the biggest mega churches here in Atlanta, New Birth, years ago. And there's sometimes, I think it was as recent as this past Sunday, I went back and watched one of our services from like over 10 years ago. And I can remember stuff very vividly while I was watching it. And I don't know, it was just a different feeling that I got listening to the service, experiencing like it was like one or two songs that we did. And I was listening to it and I was listening to everything, even with mistakes and all. I was able to appreciate it from a different place. I was able to appreciate the heart. I was able to appreciate my growth. Not to say anything that I listened to was bad. It was actually pretty good, considered mistakes and everything. It was really, really good. And I was able to just really listen and like, man, I had no idea. And when I'm saying that, it's like we were all fully present in that moment. We were all fully working together as a team. We all had differences. We all bumped heads every now and again. You know, we didn't understand certain people. We didn't understand certain things. We didn't understand the way things were working. But in those moments where we were doing worship, it would always be a sense of unity for the most part on the stage consistently. And people worked together to make sure that ship didn't go down. And not only that, you could tell the heart of the people that were serving, like as far as unity was concerned, the heart of the people as a whole was to try to please God. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their own flaws. Everybody had their own issues. Everybody came in there with their own stuff. Maybe somebody got there a little late. Maybe somebody got there a little early. Maybe somebody knew the music a little better than the other person. But at the end of the day, in hindsight, I can see, man, these were all people who were just trying to do it right. These were all people who were trying to come together for a common goal. And when you hear the heart, not the mistakes, because in the moment, when I was there, I could hear all the mistakes. I could hear what we messed up. I could hear we did this, we did that wrong, we did this. But as I went back 10 years later and listened to it from a different perspective, I heard the heart of what was there. And it was, I'm not going to tell a story. It was overwhelming listening to it because you could hear the heart over the mistakes. Now, I challenge some of you guys who are dealing with some difficult people in your life. You're dealing with difficult people. You're dealing with some difficult circumstances, some difficult situations in your life. And it's hard for you to see the heart of that person or the heart of the people that you're serving. And especially in people, my musicians that do, worship and church and all that kind of stuff. Even if you're doing it in the secular scene, really get to the heart of the people that you're around. Really get to the heart and figure out, what is it that I'm doing this for? Now, if you're in a situation and you're just there to get a check and that's all that gig is about, well, it's going to be hard to search out the heart of people in that situation, because we're just there for a check. Ain't much heart involved in that. We're going to learn this music, we're going to play this gig, and we're going to get out of here. That's pretty much what it is. But to my people who serve, I don't say my people like y'all belong to me, but I'm just saying in general, to the people who serve in ministry and that kind of thing, or in church, and it's not exclusive to that, but you serve even in your music. Maybe you don't play for a church or anything like that. Look at what you're doing and what you're presenting. Where's the heart of what you're doing? Whether it be in your business, whether it be in you teaching lessons and all that kind of stuff, what's the true heart behind what it is you're doing? When you really try to get down to the bottom of it, shave away all the fat and really get to the meat and potatoes of what it is you're trying to do. What's the heart of it about? Because it might be one of those things that you're way too close to the painting, and you're looking at people's attitudes. You're looking at how you're being treated. I think one of the biggest things, and I can say this honestly, I can say one of the biggest things that musicians deal with on any gig, on any level, whether you're being paid or not, is the feeling of being underappreciated. It's the feeling of being underappreciated. And my solution for that feeling of being underappreciated, because I've dealt with it, it's like you put your heart, your soul, because maybe some of you guys are putting everything you have into what you're doing. You ain't holding back. You're giving it all you have every single time you hit the stage, every single time you plug up your instrument, whether it be in front of 10,000 people or whether it be in front of 10 people or 5 or 1. You know what I'm saying? You're giving it all you have. And then sometimes the repayment for what you gave doesn't always seem equal, and it feels like, man, I'm doing too much, or I'm doing all of this for nothing. You have to get back to the original intent. This is something I always talk about. You have to get back to the original intent for why you started to do what you do. And that's why I call this thing time for a hard reset. When you buy your computer, when you buy your phone, or whatever the case may be, that thing is sweet. It's moving. Like everything is clicking. All the cylinders are firing and doing all this. Even when you get your car, everything is smooth. But after a little while, it's time for some maintenance. Even when we talk cars, let's talk cars for a second. They tell you, your oil change or whatever, you're good. Well, especially when you first get your car, you might be good for the first, 7,000 to 8,000 miles, depending on the type of oil you use. You might be good for a good 7,000 to 8,000 miles, but after that, you need to go take it and get that oil change. You need to go get that engine service. You need to go get those air filters and everything checked out. Check your levels, check your fluids, make sure that your coolant is full and topped off and all this kind of stuff. Hopefully, if you got a new car, you ain't dealing with none of that. But, if you done had your car a little while, you need to really go through these things and make sure that everything is firing as it's supposed to. Maybe after, 100,000 miles or so, you need to check those spark plugs and see if those spark plugs need to be changed, because everything at some point will need a hard reset. So what makes you think we and what we do are exempt? If everything in nature needs a hard reset, when you look at certain animals like reptiles and stuff like that, after a while they grow out of their skin, they shed their skin, that kind of thing. They have to go through some type of hard reset and shed that skin and put on some more skin or grow some more skin, because they've outgrown this current stage. A lot of insects do that. They outgrow the size that they are, and you'll see, I see it all the time with locusts and that kind of stuff. I don't like locusts, but I see it, and they shed their skin and they leave that old nasty skin up against a tree or something like that. You see that golden looking skin that's hugging a tree, and you see that dead thing that's gone, and you see a new thing. If you're fortunate enough to see this animal, or unfortunate, depending on what animal it is, you see this new thing and you see this fresh skin, this fresh idea, whether it be your car, whether it be your computer, whether it be your mind, that reset. We all need that hard reset. And I think that hard reset for us as human beings is really looking at the situation, getting back to the original intent of why we started to do what we do, and taking our focus off of external things and looking inside and seeing where we are. Okay? Because if you changed all of the elements that you say are keeping you from happiness, if you got rid of all of those elements that were keeping you from being happy, or if you got all the things you thought it was going to take you to be happy, how long will it last before you're unhappy again? There's this thing I've been listening to that talks about delayed gratification, which means we put off the idea of feeling good for some other day. Well, when I get a raise on my job, I'm gonna be sweet then. Or when I get to do this vacation, I'm gonna be good. Or when my kids graduate from high school, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. Or when I do this and it's like you come up with all these different things, all these different scenarios. Once I finally learn the pentatonic scale, I'm gonna be sweet on bass. Once I finally can play at 160 BPM, I'm gonna be happy about my bass playing then. If we start learning how to be present in the moment, I'm talking to me too, not just y'all, but if we start fully learning how to be present in the moment, this is the moment we have. We're here and we're now, and try to make the most of that moment and enjoy what we are, and back away from that picture, be able to get the full layout of that mural. Your life is a mural. But if you're too close to one area of your life, one section of your life, you will poison everything else. There was a situation that I was doing, a particular business situation that I was doing years ago. And I would be so frustrated when I came home. I would basically come home to my wife and complain about everything that I didn't like. You know what I'm saying? I would come and complain about this, complain about that, and this ought to be happening, and they ought to be doing this, and they ought to be doing that. So much so, that's all my wife could look forward to when I came home, was me complaining about where I just left from. Hear what I just said. She could only look forward to me coming home and complaining about the place that I just left from. I'm at home complaining about somewhere else that I was. Not that I currently am, but I'm at home complaining about something else because I've allowed this one area of my life to be so close to my face that I can't see anything else that's happening. So I'm not seeing my kids. I'm not seeing my wife. They're there. I see them, but they're probably aggravating and frustrating me too. Because once you start focusing on those areas that really annoy you, everything starts to annoy you. Just any little thing. If anybody has migraine headaches or whatever, my wife has those a lot. You'll notice how almost anything that would be the normal in any other given situation, it would annoy you, like light, bright light. I know my wife with when she have her migraines, the bright light affects her. She can't stand bright light or like extra loud noises, where it's like we could be listening to music in the truck on a normal and it's cool. She has a migraine, she's like, oh, that's really loud. The level of the music didn't change from what it normally is, but because of her current state, it's harder to deal with and it becomes annoying to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? The light, something that we need, something that we love having. Everybody wants some light, but when you have a migraine headache, you're just like, no, I'm good on that light. You can kill that. You know what I'm saying? So things that would normally be okay with you, things that would normally be needed, now become annoying to you, even like someone giving you good advice, even like hearing something that's life-changing. It's like, I don't want to hear that right now because I'm annoyed because this problem, I'm too close to my issue and it's too close to my face. So get away from me with all the other stuff. I ain't trying to hear any of that because you're too close to the mural. You need a hard reset. You need to back up, turn around. That's a good thing to do. Stop, turn around. And oftentimes, this is the thing that happens. Oftentimes, we find ourselves having those hard resets when we bump our head in life, meaning some issue beyond our control happens. Just say you get sick. And I'm not speaking that on anybody, but just for example's sake. You get sick. You lose a loved one. You lose your job. You have a car accident, or maybe you lose your car for some reason. Something happened. Your child is affected by sickness or something like that, just given the current climate, people passing away left and right. And it causes you to hard reset. That's one of them automatic updates that you didn't ask for, but that joint is here. Now you have to be forced to do a hard reset. Because what do you hear people say when they lose a loved one or something like that happens? Now I'm having to really look at the people around me and have a different appreciation for life, because I realize now how valuable and how precious life is and how short our time here on this earth is. And while I was spending all of my time concerned about this and that issue and concerned about this and that person, will this matter in 5 months? Will this matter in 5 years? You have to really look at that stuff and ask yourself those questions, because if it's not worth it, why am I giving this so much attention? Why am I allowing this thing to steal my peace? Maybe one of the reasons you're burnt out because you're focusing on the wrong thing. It's not your playing. Your playing is fine. You're exactly where you need to be. Now, if you're unsatisfied with that, you always have the option to do something about it. But that's the beautiful thing about when you come into the knowledge of, oh man, I've been goofing off for 50 years on this instrument. Now let me get serious. All right. Now that we've come into the realization of what the problem is, now we can fix it. We don't have to sit and complain about it. We just fix it. We come up with the strategy, be really strategic about what we're going to do. We come up with a plan and to see, and that's what I do in my coaching calls, try to work with my students to come up with a plan. I let them work at their own pace, but I try to encourage them along the way, and we try to come up with a plan to move you from where you are to where you want to be. Because I can't do the work for you. I can just dump a whole bunch of stuff. And that's why I call it coaching calls as opposed to lessons. Like, I can dump a whole bunch of material on you and tell you to go learn this, but that's not going to make you any happier. The thing I think that most musicians miss about these instruments, they're so busy trying to be faster. And just for my musicians for a second, we're so busy trying to be faster, trying to know more stuff and all this kind of stuff. We forget to be musical. We don't learn the English language or whatever language we speak to our native, tongue or whatever. We don't learn those languages just to show off, just to show people how well we can speak. That's not the reason we learn to speak. That's not the reason your parents teach you when you're a child how to start saying your words. You learn these language the language to communicate what you feel. You learn this language to interact with other people. You learn this language to share information and to receive information. Because if I understand the language, I can understand the information you're trying to give me. But when we start focusing on just the pyrotechnics, just the fireworks of it all, to be able to show off and to be able to show people, hey, look what I can do. What's the dude from Mad TV? Look what I can do. Sorry. But you know what I'm saying? When we start focusing on all of that stuff, we miss the opportunity to grow. And I think most people are frustrated. Think about in regular conversation, because remember, music is a language. Think about in regular conversation. And this is why I'm saying most people are frustrated. How enjoyable is it to talk to someone who doesn't understand you? Or how frustrating is it to try and to communicate with someone who doesn't speak your language and you really need to tell them something? Just kind of let that marinate for a second. How frustrating is that when you're trying to tell someone something and you're having a hard time trying to say it? That's why you're frustrated. That's why you burn out. For the most of us, not everybody, but for the most of us, you're trying to communicate something musically and it's not going across. You feel like you've hit this glass ceiling in your playing, in your business, whatever it is you're dealing with, because you're not communicating the way you truly want to communicate. Because you can get to doing all this different stuff, learning all these different chops and all this kind of stuff, but you're still not able to put your sentence together the right way. And so now it's like, I done learned all this stuff and I still don't speak any better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I learned all these big words. Think about it. Most of us, we sat in English class and all this literature and all this different stuff we read and we learned all these words, but we don't use all of the words we know in our vocabulary. We find a different word. But it's great having a conversation with a friend, and you know I don't have to pull out all of these words that I know. I can just relax and talk, and they understand my dialect, and they understand everything about what it is I'm trying to say, and so I don't have to try to put fancy words together. You're doing that in music. You're trying to put all this fancy stuff together in efforts to impress the smart people, the quote unquote elite musicians. And oftentimes you're not being honest with yourself. And then you go listen to other smart people on Instagram, on YouTube, Facebook, smart people that put up these videos. When I say smart people, I'm talking about people who have a different way of expressing themselves on that instrument. And it sounds very intelligent to you when you listen to it. And it's like, because I don't know how to do that, I feel like I'm inferior to them, or I feel like what I have to say is insignificant. There's something to be said when you talk to older people. They might not have went to college, or, they might not have had especially in the South, they might not have correct grammar and all this kind of stuff. But there are some life lessons that I've learned. I used to be called old man when I was young because I hung around a lot of older guys. Growing up in Mississippi playing gospel quartet, I used to play guitar. And I used to hang around a lot of older guys when I was growing up. And there was a lot of wisdom that I got. And when I got around different people, especially when I went to college, it was like, man, you act like an old man, or you act mature for your age, because there were some life lessons that I learned from these people who didn't maybe have the greatest vocabulary, but they had some wisdom to give me. And they had lived through some stuff. They had, done some things and messed up. And they were able to show me, hey, man, don't do that. Don't go over there. Don't hang out with them. Let's go. And so I was able to save myself a lot of trouble simply by listening to these people, or simply by watching the way that they did certain things, watching the way they handled people. My wife laughs at me to this day because my grandpa, when he was alive, I would ride with him certain times. He had this thing, in the South, we speak to everybody, and especially in Mississippi. We used to. I don't know if cats are doing it now, but back in the day, my grandpa would be driving his car. He could meet 200 cars on the road, and you see that one finger go up. He's always speaking like this is him driving. He put that finger up. Maybe some of you guys from the South, you know about that. It's like they speak to everybody. He put that one finger up, is saying hello. That's like the Southern version of hello when you're driving. You stick the one finger up and say hello. And he used to do that all the time when he drove. And so every now and again, I find myself just, speaking to people when I'm driving. My wife was like, those folks don't know what you do. You know what I'm saying? But it's a habit that I've developed from watching somebody else be polite. And that's all it is. I find myself oftentimes walking into places and maybe checking out or something at the register, or being on the same aisle with someone at a grocery store and something like that. And we're passing by each other. We know we just made eye contact, and the person doesn't say anything. So rather than me getting upset because they didn't speak, hey, man, how's it going? How you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. You know what I'm saying? I speak because that Southern hospitality thing just makes me engage in conversation most of the time. So it's hard for me to be in a room full of people and not try to connect with anyone because of those things that I've learned from the older generation. So maybe it's not so much about you being the smartest person in the room all the time. It's about how valuable are the things you have to say. Musically, how valuable is what you have to add to the conversation? To say hello to somebody, I don't have to pull out my bachelor's degree. I don't have to tell them what university I attended. I don't have to do all of that kind of stuff. To say hello and just be nice is enough to brighten someone's day. Because you notice that person, when you speak to someone, especially if they didn't speak to you first, and they just, looking really intense, and you thinking in your mind, oh man, they mean, or whatever the case may be, and then you speak, and all of a sudden, oh hey, it's like that face and their demeanor instantly changes. And most people, they warm up. Not everybody. There are a few that escape. But for the most part, most people warm up when you speak to them. So just imagine if you were able to do that musically. When you speak musically, you can warm the room up. But if I'm just trying to speak only to show you how smart I am, then it's going to be hard to warm the room, because I'm not speaking from here. I'm speaking from here. And I know we've covered a lot of levels of what we're talking about in terms of the hard reset. Now, one of the main areas that we talked about is, looking at the picture, backing up and seeing the full picture instead of being so close to everything. Now, that thing can come down to you in terms of you feeling burnout. It can come down to the environment that you're in. It can come down to what you're trying to get across, what you're trying to say as a musician, as an individual. You're trying to be too intelligent when all you need to do is just say hello. And it can also come down to just, personal thoughts about your own self, your own personal view of yourself. And when you start viewing yourself the wrong way as inferior to someone else, yeah, of course, that's going to affect everything you're doing because your image of yourself is off. So you start to think that everybody else sees you the way that you see you. It's time for a hard reset. Time for you to reevaluate how you're looking at you. Time for you to reevaluate how you're looking at your situation, because I guarantee you it's not as bad as it seems. And even in every situation, there is something to be celebrated. My wife, I told you guys before, she often deals with headaches, chronic migraines, that kind of thing. And one of the things I do from time to time, because I know, man, I don't know how, and I'm not saying this to say anything negative. I'm saying this, she's a warrior, because I don't know how she does it. I get a little headache, it's like I'm out. Like I don't do headaches well. Like that's not. She's a trooper to deal with chronic migraines ongoing. But one of the things when she's dealing, I even asked her the other night. She had a headache, and I said, well, because she didn't want to say what was wrong. She was like, the usual. I don't want to, I don't want to even say anything about it because I don't want to complain about it. I said, well, what's right? What feels fine? What's not hurting you? That kind of thing. She was like, well, my arms feel fine, my legs feel fine, my feet feel fine. And before you know it, she started smiling as she was saying these things. And that didn't mean the headache went away, but it took so much attention off of that thing. It's still a pain point, but I don't have to give you my full attention because you're causing me pain. I can focus on things that are pure, things that are lovely, things that are of good report. I can focus on things that bring joy to me. I can focus on things that make me smile. I can focus on the good things that are going on. What do you have in your playing as a musician that you can focus on that takes the negative perception of who you are away, or what you're playing? You know what? I said I was going to learn this song, and I was going to have it learned by this X amount of days, and I did it. Or I was going to learn this set, and I learned the set, and I'm ready for this rehearsal. Or I did the rehearsal, I did the gig, and I killed the gig. Maybe I didn't play everything that I wanted to play, but I got through the gig. We didn't crash and burn. The plane didn't go down. The ship didn't sink. You know what I'm saying? Celebrate that. And that way we start to take the attention off of the things that we don't like. Find some things. I said this before, and I'll say it again. There's an old song that says, count your blessings and name them one by one. You know what? I got up this morning. I got out of the bed, had my health. I had my strength. Everything that I needed was in place. Maybe I don't feel as great as I should feel, but here's what's not bothering me. Start listing out the things that's not bothering you. And I guarantee you, if you start listing out the list of things that are right instead of wrong, your list should be a little longer. Don't even give attention to the negative things, because negative, it seems like a natural thing for us to notice. But make a list of all the positive things that you can be grateful and thankful for. Now, practicing gratitude. Here's my last thing, and I'll wrap this up. Practicing gratitude. I've said this before. Practicing gratitude first thing in the morning, even before you go to bed at night. It does something about the hard reset in terms of shifting your mind to start processing things the right way. When I practice gratitude, I get up in the morning, I say, you know what? I'm thankful. I don't sound as well as I should sound on this bass, but I'm thankful I have one. I'm thankful I got a sweet bass. If your bass ain't that sweet, man, I'm thankful for the bass that I have. I ain't playing a broom with some rubber bands on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no matter what stage you are or where you find yourself, there's something that you can be grateful and thankful for. And we can shift our minds, shift our focus to begin to start acknowledging these things that are good, then we can take away the negative. We can take it away. We can take the focus. We can take away the attention from it. That doesn't mean my tooth don't hurt. That doesn't mean my head doesn't hurt. That doesn't mean my foot or my arm or whatever, my back, whatever your thing is. That doesn't mean that pain is not there, but it does not have to have my full attention, right? I'm going to stop there. I think I've made my point. All right, so let me go through some of these comments that I missed earlier. I saw them, but I wanted to get out what I had in my mind. Angel, if you're still here, good morning to you. Pennsylvania is in the building. Tiffany says, yes, to be present. Keziah says, facts. If I'm saying your name right, I say Anna. I think I'm saying it right. Floppy says, true words. Daly, good morning, my friend. Thank you for the advice. Daly, thank you for being here. Calvin, thank you, sir. Floppy says, great stuff. I needed this so much. I've been feeling so behind in my playing. Thank you, man. No problem. No problem. Let's see. Everything, Steven says, everything needs a hard reset. New seasons are essential to growth. Absolutely. Yes, you on point. Woo. Chelsea's good info. Candy, I so needed to hear this. I'm glad this is something that's helping you guys. Sean says, good morning, Jermaine, from Zion, Illinois. Good morning, Sean. Self-reflection on yourself. Absolutely. Yep. I used to get in trouble for not speaking to elders sitting on the porch. Man, listen, if you're from the South, that's one thing I'm really super grateful for. I'm super grateful for, Southern hospitality. No knock, no shade to anybody else. I done had a lot of bad stuff said about me from being from the South. People talk about your dialect, all that kind of stuff. But one thing I love is that Southern hospitality. It's like certain things that our parents put into us. It's like, you walk in a room full of people, speak. It's not to put on a show, make yourself known, but speak to people, say hello. And so, it doesn't matter who they are. You just speak to people. And when you learn those different things, just about those little simple things, it can change a lot. It changes the energy. It changes. You walk in the room and now you you become a thermostat in a room instead of a thermometer. You don't go in there and just, oh man, it's cold in here, let me put a jacket on. No, it's cold in here, adjust your thermostat. What can you do to warm the room up? So you should be the climate changer in your room. You should be the one that walks in the room, and just by your presence being in the room, something is different. Man, it's just like I can't feel sad. I can't feel when I'm in this room with this person, man, they just make me laugh, or they just, I feel at peace. What kind of energy are you bringing in the room? You know what I'm saying? Not to get back on this whole bandwagon of what I'm talking about, but you got to be aware of that stuff. What type of energy are you bringing? Because maybe these people are looking like that because you came in the room with the wrong energy. So be aware of the type of energy you bring to the room. Calvin says, I'm glad. He said, I'm sorry. I'm in GA and Steel Wave. Come on here. You could tell the people who are naturally from the South. And I'm not going to, well, let me say this. I'm not going to put that blanket statement on everybody because there's some mean people that live in the South. They don't speak. And they were born and raised, their roots go way back, and they don't speak. So it ain't everybody. It's according to how you were raised. And some people from up north feel the same way. So I'm not going to just try to give all the South, like we the only ones that are polite, because that's not true. People from all around the world are polite. It just matters your culture, how you were raised, and that kind of thing. And if you're not polite, now you know, and then you can start being polite to people. You can start speaking. When you go to Starbucks and get your coffee, speak to somebody. You know what I'm saying? I almost get offended when people don't speak, especially when I go to restaurants. They just, hey, man, they don't say hello. They just say, may I take your order? I said, good morning. How you doing? Let's speak. You know what I'm saying? I'm having a good day. Don't ruin it. You know what I'm saying? Since your day is not good, don't ruin mine. Just go ahead and speak, Anyway, I'm ranting now, guys. But I appreciate you all for being here. Hopefully you had a lot of fun with this thing. Hopefully this information was helpful for you. If it was, be sure and share this information with someone. Share this live with someone. Not so much so I can get views, but the reason I come on here, I want to be a help to people. And if you know somebody that needs this help, that can use a pick me up, send it to them. You never know. You just never know. I sent something to a friend of mine, and most people that are close to me, if I listen to something that I find really helpful and encouraging and inspiring for me, I try to send it to people. And oftentimes I don't know what they're going to think about it. I don't know if like, man, dude, this dude, he's sending something else. You're like, I don't know. But I remember I sent something to a friend of mine a few weeks ago, and I talked to him. He was like, man, I appreciate you sending me that such and such. That was really on time. I really needed that. I really needed it. So you just never know when you send and you share something, how helpful it could be to someone. So it's those small acts of kindness, or those small things that show people, hey, I was thinking about you. Just to know that somebody was thinking about me. I could be at my lowest state and you send me something to encourage me, and you remind me that, hey, somebody's thinking about you. That means a lot. Just imagine if somebody sent you something and just, hey, I was just thinking about you on your worst day. It's like, man, I appreciate it. It's good to know that somebody's thinking about me, right? Anyway, Sean says it's okay to speak and smile at people. It's totally okay. Now, Betty Wright got a song that says it's okay to be a little sweet, but you can't show your teeth to every guy you meet. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that your good works are not evil spoken. So you just got to be careful, because some people do misread your kindness. Some people do misread your generosity or all these different things. So make sure that the intentions are clear when you do what you do. Don't just walk around grinning and skinning at everybody, because, people might think you look creepy. So it's within moderation. You just got to do it the right way, right? It's just a little joke, y'all. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in and watching and listening today. I appreciate it. I normally would use this opportunity to mention my book, but I'm going to do something, and you can check it out here. So thank you guys again. This has been it for me. I'm out. So let's see here. Hey, are you a working musician, or maybe an aspiring musician that's hoping to one day become a working musician? Then chances are you didn't get into this thing because you were looking to become a millionaire overnight or something like that. Most likely you got into it for the love and the passion of the music. I know that was the reason for me. Listen, I'm Jermaine Morgan, musician, songwriter, producer, artist, teacher, speaker, and several other titles that fall under that same category of music. And I mention all those titles for a reason. I've been a musician for about 26 years. And of those 26 years, I've been a professional musician for about 15 years. And throughout that time, I've learned so much as it pertains to my own journey and my own success as a musician, that's allowed me to take care of my family, and that's allowed me to grow even in my own endeavors as an entrepreneur, not just a musician, but an actual entrepreneur. And I actually wanted to share some of these things that I've done in my own journey that helped me to grow and to have my own success, not always worrying about the next gig or who's going to call me next in order for me to provide income and me to be able to take care of my family, actually creating something for myself. So I actually wrote this book called 10 Ways to Success, The Working Musician. And in this book, I wanted to show you practical ways that I've used that have been tried and proven that actually work to help you create your own income. And it might be some things that you may be overlooking if you are a working musician, because I know many times we can get caught up in the next gig, the next call, the next session, the next this, the next that, to the point that we're not looking to create anything for our own selves. We're waiting on someone else to call us. But in this book, I just want to challenge you to be more resourceful through my own personal journey, through my own personal story, so you can possibly look at some things you might have been looking over the years that could have been costing you some major success in areas that you never even thought about. So I encourage you to pick this book up. You can find it on Amazon. Again, 10 Ways to Success, The Working Musician by Jermaine Morgan, myself. Or if you want a more personalized copy signed by me, you can find that on my website at jermainemorgan.net. Listen, I really appreciate you for taking out the time to check out this video, and I just wanted to leave you with one last word of encouragement. If you are a musician, you don't have to become famous to become a success. I'll see you soon.